are trailblazing in a way that's like 10 times faster than all carriers that collectively are like $1 trillion of revenue a year. How do you stay at it?
Well, so first of all, I have to comment on the don't know piece, because I think there's this difference between feeling bad about it and just looking at things and saying there's a better way to do that. It's just not that hard. So, for example, lines drive me crazy. Anytime for anything that you see people waiting in line, it's like these people are waiting in line to give somebody money, and they can't figure out a way to make it easier for them to do that. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And that has dragged me into all kinds of things.
And I just play like Candy Crush on my phone. I'm totally fine about it. Like founder, not founder, right there.
Or scrolling through Instagram.
Like, oh, he's never been on Instagram. I mean, it's like crazy.
So this started some time ago after my first IPO when I was young. I went back to my alma mater, and they asked me to speak about being an entrepreneur, which I thought it was the first time I ever went back because I had a chip on my shoulder. I was probably the poorest kid there, and I said, I'm never going back until I've done something that's worthwhile. So they invited me, and I was feeling pretty good, and then went up to speak, and the speaker, he gave me a card. This is a real card. I still have it, and it said, Director of Large Gifts. And so I realized that the only reason they actually had me back was they thought I would give money. And it got worse from that because I went to have dinner with a professor who is a mentor and a friend, and he said, how do you think you're doing? I said, well, I had just done an IPO. I'd made the first money in my life. And I said, well, I think I'm doing really well. And he was quiet. And so I said, why? And he said, well, we didn't educate you to make money. We educated you to make a difference. And you're a bit of a disappointment. And so it was, and it's still to this day, it's kind of an emotional moment for me because it was life-changing. And I said, gosh, at first I was angry. I was like, he's an academic and, he's jealous. And it just kept eating at me. And then not long after, my niece was diagnosed with diabetes. And then eventually my son was diagnosed. And I said, hey, this health thing matters. And it's a way to make a difference. And so I did a pivot and I said, I'm going to focus on things that make a difference. And, and that started with the first healthcare company, which was electronic prescribing, where a lot of people were dying from, badly written prescriptions. Only some of you remember the script pads and things and we used to joke about the handwriting is so bad from doctors, but people were dying from it, and lots of them all the time. So we had to start fixing that, and then electronic health records, and it was an endless stream. But every time we thought we made progress, we realized how much there was to do. So after Livongo, a few people called and said, why don't you do what you did at Livongo for the rest of healthcare? And we started again.